station. No part of this program may be copied or reproduced in full or in part without the express written consent of the producers. That, of course, is the McKinney Media Group. This is Hard Copy on the McKinney Broadcasting Radio Network. And Hard Copy, as you know, seeks to lay out the facts in simple fashion for the inclusion of all Bahamians and Bahamians at heart. The focus every day to move forthright in our manner to build a progressive and developing country. Our desire is for a Bahamas with a competent, skillful, and productive workforce. We want a country that can feed and sustain itself. We want a country with a brilliant, visionary action plan that's ready to embrace a future of hope and prosperity. We encourage like-minded Bahamians just like you to participate with intelligent and honest contributions. After all, my friends, we have a country to build. We've got jobs and industry to create, a people to inspire and empower, and generations of born and unborn Bahamians we, the people, must protect and plan for. And if not you, then who? If not now, then when? On Hard Copy today, it's Graham Weatherford of the COI Live right here on Hard Copy this afternoon. We will speak to the issues of electricity, water supply, financial accountability, and many other pressing issues at heart and hit the heart and soul of many who continue to gamble with the future of this country called the Bahamas. What is going to be the end result? We have to ask that question. We've got to soberly ask that question, what is going to be the end result of what is happening here to us today? In this time of harsh immigration policies, a government that does not want to hear what you're saying, a government that seems to be totally objective to anything wonderful about this whole situation of not relaxing taxes. They even wanted to tax the people on the water pumps, the well pumps. See, what's happening right here is that we've got to rescue this country. And we have actually the question today, are Bahamians prepared to fight? Are they Bahamians prepared to go and wrestle this country and level the playing field for all Bahamians? That's what the question really is, Are we prepared to really fight? And this can be in all kinds of ways. Today, a government that seems to be, we will get a perspective from Graham Weatherford, who is prepared to fight and to fight hard. See, I want you to see what I'm saying here. This is Graham. You know him. He's been on talk radio for many, many years. He sat with Obi Wilshcombe many, many times. He sat with me many, many times. So if he's been fighting, he has put his money where his mouth is. He's not just talking out there in hinterland. No, sir. He's decided that it is time to fight. And this is his country. He belongs there. If he can fight, you can fight. You've got to fight this thing through. And fighting ain't mean going down to Bay Street and demonstrating and listen, we're not looking for that kind of fight. What we're looking for are people who are so interested in properly developing this country that they will put everything on the line to make sure the thing happens for all of we, the people of this country. And that's one of the reasons why I want you to listen in today, because Graham is a fellow who knows a lot of things about many, many things, many accounts that he can talk to you about and help you to see. That is what we are wanting to accomplish here today on the show. So why don't you call me? It's easy to do. 376-9234. That's one number. The other number is 821-9234. Phones are working. We want to hear from you because Graham represents a group, the COI. And that means that he really is fighting. Because a lot of people wanted to just write the COI off. But here it is, the man in charge of the COI, that group that he put together, has issued out a plea. We've got 19 bona fide, well-educated candidates ready to take on the fight. And it's 3 years out. Imagine if he was to go again and name another 14, and name another 10, and all the other people who are in reserve because people want to fight. This is time to fight. This is time to fight for your country. There's no other way to put it. You've got to fight for the country. Those who are not on board will have to get on board and understand what it takes to get on board. It doesn't take much. Your vote is that very important. Always going to be important. Everybody wants your vote. There are others who have not decided to talk at all from political sides. They don't want to talk from one political side, and the other opposition political side don't want to talk either. We don't know what's wrong with them. Why aren't they talking? There are so many issues in this country, burning issues, that they have to talk, but no one is saying anything. So you, the people, have got to fight. That's what's happening. You, the people, have got to fight. And that's why we welcome here today to the show. On the broadcast, Graham Weatherford, who is here as a representative of the COI, and he is so well-rounded, he can be used anywhere should they win the next government. And don't think it's impossible. The way things are going these days, the hate that's been happening for the other political parties in this country, anything can actually happen. So keep that in mind as we discuss things today. Good afternoon, Graham. How are you?
Well, welcome, Steve, and to the nation and listening audience in the country and around the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't fight for it, you don't deserve it.
Absolutely.
Remember that?
Didn't think so.
And so it feels like, to me, we have no opposition except for the COI. Major issues not being addressed. Mr. Bain brought up an issue in West End.
Yes.
And the next minute, we were talking about taxing your well. I couldn't have thought of a better distraction. I thought it would have been the typical spousal rape, marijuana, same-sex marriage.
No,
we went straight to taxing your well.
Yes. They hit you with count.
Well, we got to distract you.
People were saying that, okay, so they did this, and they were saying that, no, we didn't do it. Bray Davis came out and said, oh, we're not going to do it. But they did, in fact, float that. That was floated.
I heard you say floated. You do that. You do that to distract people, or you do it to float something like if we were planning on selling a utility, we say, hey, what do you think about selling? And then people push back, like you said, I think it was yesterday, and then you get your feedback.
That's what happened.
That's all it's for. But I think this floating the well thing, I think that was just to really distract away from what happened in West End.
Yes.
I was appalled to see how we treat foreign investors. But it is what it is. I'm not scared to take the phone calls. And it could be on any issue, either I know or I don't know.
But what is the thing that really gets to you right now when you look at the overall picture of what's going on in our country today?
The first thing is, Steve, I'm not a politician. And I'm not an activist. But I was looking and counting on my hands the other day. I am an 8th generation Bahamian.
Okay.
Came to Grand Bahama, actually, first, then Abaco, and then Harbor Island. So why would I even speak out? You know, when you speak out in the Bahamas, there's a risk. I've been a member of both parties, card-carrying member, so I could hear what you were about. I decided in 2012 to run independent
Yes, you did.
because I wanted both sides of the coin to benefit.
Mhm.
It cannot be that I say I'm going to be with one party and dog eat your lunch for the rest of you all. That I don't subscribe to that.
Mhm.
Everybody should benefit equally. It's why I went independent, and it's why I said I would go with the coalition of independents.
Yes.
It's not where you have a whip put on you. You can say what you need to say. Right now, we know in this country, everybody knows, they feel it, we're rich. We're the third richest country in the hemisphere. I said that on a Portland show in 2008. The proof is right here from the IMF and the World Bank. You understand what I'm saying, Steve? Out of all the countries in the hemisphere, from the North Pole to the South Pole, right?
Yes.
You are the third richest. How is that possible? In 1980s, you were the richest country in the hemisphere based on GDP per capita.
Okay.
But isn't that what they use when they lend us money?
That's what they use.
So I have to use their scale, their metric, their ruler. And based on that, in 1983, we were the richest country in the hemisphere, richer than the people bed we were making, drinks we were serving, and food we were serving. I got the proof right here.
Yes.
But think of this. In 2022, January, we were the third richest, right? But we hadn't been working for a whole year in our number one job. Tourism, COVID, you forgot? How am I the third richest country and I'm not working in my number one job? I didn't say it, you know. So it got me thinking, if we have this many resources in our country, natural gas and oil that we've not even touched, we are the fifth richest country in the world back in the 80s. UAE, Emirates, Qatar, Emirates, USA, Switzerland, Bahamas.
In the world.
In the world. I got that right here. You can look at it. I got a tons of things you could look at, Steve. So the bottom line is, I said I have to be a part of speaking to the debate.
Right.
I mean, we've been talking forever, and they dismiss me as some crazy Conky Joe guy doing whatever.
Mhm.
And then I was invited to talk to some people in governance. I have to be so politically correct because I don't want to call a name and I don't want to call parties.
Mhm. Understood.
Because there's a sign at a club that teaches young people how to swim. If in the course of winning you lose the respect of your opponents, you've won nothing.
Mhm.
So I don't have to talk bad about my
No, you don't
opponents.
have to.
They have to run on their record. They say, who is the COI? What is it going to do? What are you going to do? Well, I need you to run on your record or your party's record.
Absolutely.
See, when it comes to healthcare, run on your record of 50 years. Howard looking down there in Mangrove Bush, if you get a kidney or appendix problem,
Terrible.
you're dead.
Yes.
You get a slight heart attack, air
Mhm.
ambulance takes 2 hours. If you're lucky and you're rich, you're gone.
So all of these things are things that get into your core. The whole thing is that you cannot take these things too much longer because, as we said, you got to fight for some things.
We have to retire here, you know.
Yeah.
You and I.
Absolutely.
How you want to retire? In a country that's a mix between Mexico, Jamaica, Haiti, and Venezuela, or you want to retire in a country that looks like Dubai or Switzerland, where you're treated properly. That's on you. But it's ridiculous that you could give my almost 90-year-old mother $300 a month.
Shameful.
That's the best you could do. And you know, Steve, I'm not coming here with a set guidelines. We're just having a chat on all
Yes,
of the,
of course.
and you say that, no, I can't really raise the senior citizens and give them a bump in their pension. But you could paint money. I'm showing Steve this 25-cent piece with some nice
Yeah,
ceramic
Yeah, I
paint
saw
on it.
that. I saw that.
How many millions was that?
You paint the quarters, yeah.
How many millions of dollars was it to paint the quarter? And you're getting rid of money. You want to go to digital money, so you're probably not going to have money as we know it in 2030, England says. You got enough money to paint the money, but you can't give Steve's retired elders a bump.
It's a serious thing.
That's just a observation.
So all of this is just aesthetics. What they're dealing with is just public relations and aesthetics that it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't go to the soul. Are we talking about the soul of the people? The people need something to happen in the soul of them right now. These breadbasket items and stuff like that. This whole thing with value added tax and the rest of it. This thing with the food store prices and all. See, these are things that go straight to the core. People, they love what you're talking about.
You
Yes,
know,
they do.
Steve, I apologize, but I have to do points of order and interrupt.
Yeah.
Look at the VAT. Look at the VAT. It was 7%. And on your show, the man came from New Zealand to
Yes,
tell us about VAT, and I called in. You could pull up the archive. And I said,
I did it yesterday.
I said, sir.
It was on the Justice June Sawyer show.
And I asked, I said, listen, what is this VAT for? Is this to pay my debt? Is this to bus up and spend on exotic things? He said, Graham, you need freedom of information before you have this VAT added so you can know where it goes. See, I remember the show vividly. I have that kind of memory, unfortunately. And I said, wow. So one party put 7% on us, right? The other party almost double that. Remember?
Yes.
12%. On your hair, your nails, your shoes, your handbag, your car, your gas, everything in your life. This is ridiculous, you know, Steve. How could you just come and double my tax?
Just like
I mean, in America, they'd have riots. I'm not promoting that, but I mean, you don't just double tax in America. We take it. It's $1 to go over the bridge. Next day, $2.
Take it.
Not even $1, $10, $15,
Too
$24.
many things, but far too long.
The bridge ain't paid for yet because the fare was. Now we got to maintain it in all fairness, but maybe the price could have gone down after it was paid for because now you're only paying a maintenance. See, we need accounting and accountability. Oh, we ain't got no money to raise the nurses, to raise the civil servants, the prison, the police, defense. We don't, but we could paint money. We could spend millions on an old plane. We could we could spend millions on some drones. We could spend extra hundreds of millions on some battleships. We could bust up money, you know. Or I believe it was Ordland said it. We spend like drunken sailors, but no accountability. Oh, that's the government money. See, we've got a disconnect between what's our money and the government's money. All money spent is your money.
All of it.
All. Even for, you know, what I had said is when you have people that are in governance, don't pay them. Give them a commission, performance-based. If you do something in whatever ministry, whatever party, in tourism, that makes, and we can prove the money is made, $1 billion next year, and it stays in the country, and we could prove where it stays, we give you 5% commission.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and that's all well and good. But listen, man, we have no accountability, first and foremost. We have no accountability. The second thing is that we have people who have been keeping their hands close to the cookie jar, if not in the cookie jar. And as a result of that, we have no real say. We can't run a single thing that we are dealing with now. Let me just give you some examples. PPL. How many times that's been dragged around and pushed around and okay.
And you're a monopoly.
Water and sewage. What's happening? See, everything that we touch, it seems to go to dust. BTC. You know, come on. You can't get a phone call through now. The phone calls just keep dropping. It's dropping. Fred mentioned one time ago complain about it a whole lot. Now, no, there's no complaint because it's not in their best interest. Nothing happens in this country that works. I keep saying it all the time. There's nothing that works in this country. Hold on, I ain't finished yet. Look at the road traffic people. Look at the people down with the license plates and stuff. The people cars are still driving around without a license plate. How long is that going to happen? That's been happening now since maybe the last My account of it is the last year and a half. We're not serious. How can we be serious? These are simple little things that we ought to be on top of, but we can't run anything. That's why we need a systematic and a real change in the governance of our country. That's what's happening right now. And that's why I want to talk with people like yourself. I want to talk with people like Lincoln Bain and all the others who want to see how best they can facilitate the change that the people of this country need to see. That's what is really happening. When you look at that, and I know I'm going a lot, but here it is, you're looking at some situations with the crime episode. We can't stop killing one another. Not only that, but the police don't seem to be on top of things at all because they have left the people in their minds with questions after questions about what they are doing. Not that they ain't fighting crime. We believe that they fighting crime, but what are they really, really doing to get to the bottom of all this real criminality that's happening in the country? We don't know. The Commissioner of Police is not saying anything to us. We gotta wait. We gotta wait. Everything is just being sent down the road to be kicked around later on in the next year and a half. The report is not going to happen until on this particular thing with Michael Johnson. It's not going to happen until the end of the year. By that time, it'll be into next year, the next year after that. See, we don't deal with anything. Our civil servants, our people who are working the government agencies, everybody is going on retirement early. We have a retirement age that is 60. The people can't get no money from that until they reach 65 at national insurance. That's a big problem that we have created for ourselves. They can't get no money. So why are you putting the people on retirement at 60 years old? See, these are little small things that mean a whole lot to so many people, but no one is talking about them. That's why we've got to fight.
You know, Steve, there's one thing that's working really well in the country.
What is that?
Taxation on the locals.
Yes, I know that.
Not the foreigner, the local.
The locals.
And whether the foreigner is at the bottom or at the top, he's doing well. And he's growing and he's coming down and we're getting squeezed out of the middle. Yeah.
How is that for size?
The big guy who owns big things, well, he wants to own some of the smaller things, maybe some Airbnbs and stuff. So he's squeezing you from the top. And the little guy just reach, he's moving up and squeezing you. Your kids will be squeezed like an ice cream sandwich straight out the country. Sad, eh?
Very.
And that needs to be stopped.
But how do we stop these things from happening when you don't have the total
You need an
connection?
overhaul of the country.
We don't have the total connection of the people. The people have to be on the same page where the new leaders are trying to go. They've got to be there. They've got to find themselves to be there on the same page.
I have one of the, he's listening, one of the top guys in the civil service. I won't tell you which department. He says to me, we're a failed state. Name any ministry that's working to 50%.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't get a license plate if I hit your car. How you know to tell the police what hit you?
See, that's
You say, if an armed robbery, what the number was on the car.
You don't even know what they're talking about. They have these commercials on, but you know, don't look the robber in his face. Look at the getaway car. Listen then. You can't look at no getaway car because the fella ain't got no license plate on the car. Okay? Let's be real. Look at the traffic load in this country. How many cars are we going to bring into this country? Dr. Donaldson and I used to be talking about that all the time on Fridays. You can't just be bringing cars into this country. This island is full of cars. I went through an off street today, just off around Lily Valley Corner, off Bay Town, that kind of stuff. And let me tell you something. If you and these cars are working in them, they're lining the streets because they ain't got no garage to park in. The place is just crammed with cars. Now I keep asking myself the question: how come they didn't listen to us back then? How come they didn't listen to Graham back then? All these things that they've been saying, trying to bring.
See you sitting in traffic. Remember we dug up all the roads one time? The song "Dig Up, Dig Up." Remember that song? All the roads dig up.
Yeah.
Well, what was the benefit of digging up every road and making you sit in all kind of traffic? Stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. Fuel, Steve. Your Ford Explorer burnt up so much more fuel just sitting in traffic. We appreciate you for giving some people that money. Isn't that sick? Where we could have young people in this country and seniors, people who want to get on a scooter. It's one person. They just want to go down the road, pick up something from the store, a bottle of milk, a loaf of bread. Hop on a scooter. I do it. See, I'm not one of those who just talk about things. I do it. I've been doing it from I was very young. I've had 140 motorcycles and scooters. So I'm the guy just running them out.
Wow.
And I came here today from Village Road, and it took me I left a half hour early from Village Road to get right here. Should only take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, I didn't even reach from Village Road on Shirley Street to the Shell gas station by Harbor Bay.
What?
I had to jump through the corner, go home, and get my scooter. I couldn't come in the car. I would not have made it here yet. But the scooter, 10 minutes. And we refuse to do anything that makes sense because you see, with energy and transportation, we have from Clifton Pier those lovely new, you see those lamp poles, the high tension wires? And they're not blowing down in a hurricane. Easy. And they go straight from there to the big hotel, Cable Beach. They got good power.
That's where they head.
That's where they go. Why wouldn't we send those poles straight down Prince Charles, straight down the highway to Prince Charles, and straight to the east end of the island, Steve, so that everybody had that backbone of infrastructure? And on the side of that, why wouldn't you put a overhead, right? Train, monorail, whatever you want to call it, running east-west. And you don't start it from Clifton Pier. You start it from East Street and Blue Hill and work your way east and west. And you do buses going up and down East Street and Blue Hill to get you to the overhead, should you need it. You wouldn't need another car in this country.
It calls for planning now.
It calls for common sense.
See, this is what I'm looking at. It calls for serious common sense. It calls for serious planning. And we are looking for people who want to plan this country and plan it well for the future endeavor. And that's why I wanted to talk with you. I wanted to talk with Lincoln. I wanted to talk with people like that because Lincoln told me the other night that they've got the local government and the rest of it. These are positive things. They're not anything new, but he's added these new dimensions to these things that will make the people feel that we are doing this thing ourselves and it's the right thing to do, and we are going to take care of ourselves and take care of our home. That's what it should be. We are a broke up country all over the place, with all these islands in the sun, and we can't do nothing for ourselves. Everything is the central government. They should have already decided that we're not doing that anymore. We're going to change this thing all over again to make sure that the people can help themselves. So he has good ideas, you have good ideas, and I want to hear some of those other ideas you have about what we're going to do about the power grid, what we're going to do about the kind of things that we want to create in this solar energy system. What are we going to do about this whole thing, about this fixation with the Shell and the BPL and all that kind of thing? Because we need to move away from those things. We need to move away from those things to make sure that we know exactly what it is that we can expect in the future. And that's what I'm looking at. Futuristically, what is the Bahamas looking like?
Steve, for going on 10 years, I've had an electric car and an electric scooter charged by solar panels. Because it doesn't make sense if I don't have to put gas in my vehicle, but I got to pay a light bill, because the light bill makes the electricity from the generator at Clifton, so you're still burning fossil fuel. Many years ago now, I said we could have been no fossil fuel burnt to drive.
Okay.
You charge your car here, solar's on your house, your business is charging your car. You leave from here and you go to the pharmacy, the parking lot has overhead, shade, but it's solar panels. So you plug in there if you're low. I don't understand why with our biggest natural resource, what's the biggest natural resource? The sun, Steve, not aragonite, not any of the other things. The Bahamas more than that other radio thing. And we, I actually had a leader that said, what natural resources?
Yeah.
While standing in the hot sun, wiping their head. Why aren't we using it? You see, we go Copenhagen in 2009, I believe it was. We go all the COP 21 and COP whatever, 27. And I ain't been on one yet. Been talking about it forever. I see, when I went to COP, I would have stood up on stage and I would have said, now listen, where do I send the boat for the solar panels? And they could be free. You going to give me the free solar panels to put on my buildings, whether it's government buildings or personal homes.
Exactly.
Because you're the one saying it's global warming, right?
That's right.
You're the biggest offender, right?
Right.
So let's not just have these meetings and no. Make a commitment right now. Where could the boat come and fill up for the free solar? And you're going to pay for it. And we could have done this from good Lord, way before 2014, I was talking about it. But you see, it affects fuel sales.
And they don't want that.
Now, it isn't, let me help the fuel people. I shouldn't do this, but let me help. You now bring in fuel, right? To put in a generator, okay? It costs you some money for the fuel. Then you sell Steve light bill $800 a month. How nice would it be if you took some of that big money you made, both fuel guys, all the fuel people, they all kind of colors, right? What if you put the solar on Steve's house business for free? But you told Steve you're paying 50 cents a kilowatt hour. I'm just using round numbers.
Right. Okay.
We'll drop your light bill to 30 cents. So your $800 could go down $300, $400, $500. Steve will be happy, right? You basically rent them the roof space to lower your bill. But now there's a cost for the panels. But after 3 years, they pay for themselves because you're still paying them, right? But they're not having to buy the fuel.
Uh-huh.
It's like Steve running the radio station, but they ain't got no light bill to pay. See, they're making power, but they ain't gonna buy all that fuel. Now I just gave them the model. You think they're gonna go and fix the Bahamas? Because that's all they got to do. Just come around and say, we're gonna take all these billions we made, we start putting solar out there, we gonna lower light bills, but we won't have to, and we buy $400 million worth of fuel a year.
Understood.
I can show you one more. If we heated the water in this country, water heaters, Mr. Miller, Leslie Miller, he's a friend of the station, when he was the chairman, said 1/3 of our energy is to heat water. How smart are we? Or how rich are we? Remember the 25 cent?
Yes.
How rich are we, Steve? We can take diesel to put in a generator, right? To make electricity to heat water in my house. When I could have just simply put the water outside and it would have been heated for free. Carbon friendly, because you're going to pay carbon credits and fines. It would have been carbon friendly with the solar water heaters. You could have built those in the Bahamas. That's jobs. We love jobs, right? But I say ownership and careers in solar water heaters made in Freeport, because Freeport's hurting, for distribution. 1/3. So if we spend 400 million, what are we looking at? 130 million a year? We would save in fuel just in heating water, right? Now I got 130 million to set up some young people at BTBI, start making these things. But it's better than that. 400 million, right? The generators are barely keeping up with our energy needs, right? 1/3 of that means our generators would be 1/3 too big for our needs. No more blackouts. No more brownout. John Bostwick said it. Float 2 power barges here with clean liquid natural gas, right? 300 megawatt. One out by Defense Force, one on the north side. 600 megawatt. Tell the cruise ship stop burning that nasty fuel or whatever they're burning in my harbor, right? That you can't do in the US and plug into our power. So instantly you have a cash flow to help pay for this upgrade.
Like I said, we've all been talking about this for
Forever.
years.
Ever.
Nobody has been listening. Do you feel as if the government actually listens to what the general public is saying about a number of things in our country today?
And when you say the government, I'm not talking about any one party.
No.
I'm talking about both,
I'm talking
everybody
about
for the last 50 years.
The government,
Yeah,
the government,
governance.
The governance of it. See, TRBF and them doesn't matter, right? I'm talking governance. When you're looking at that thing, the government could be anyone, any political party. anytime.
Mhm.
That's why I'm saying governments.
Mhm.
Or I should say governments.
Mhm.
Do you think that do they listen? Any of them? Do they ever listen to what people are saying to them? Because there are so many people in this country, bright minds like yourself and others, who have been saying to them, "This is how we should do this thing." We don't look at the situation for what it really is, because people are right here saying that this is what we ought to be doing, but they still want to just bring people in, have to listen to what they're saying. They don't know nothing but the Bahamas. Not that you need to know anything about the Bahamas, but the point is, we've got our own people right here who can make some things happen right quick, fast, and hard. And that's why this is back right now. That's why there's a Lincoln being
Yes.
on the scene,
Yes.
trying to, in fact, to take over. You know why? Because of the fact that no one has been listening to him long time. No one has been listening to me long time. No one has been listening to you or John Boston or any of the people like that that we can our contemporaries. Nothing has been happening. So
They kept the
they
people in
die
survival mode.
on the line.
Yeah.
And everybody's now punched on to the point where whatever happened, that happened. Whatever happened, I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. If you change the government, that didn't make no sense. People are just disillusioned.
Low voter turnout.
What
Tells
is
you
going to happen, though? What is going to happen?
what's
You
going to
think-
happen.
Yes.
Hyperinflation and inflation first.
Mm.
And where it kicks in and gets real is when you go to buy those noodles and they $120 a case. Now they're already up to 27 or something a case, right?
The noodles with the little,
Yeah, Roman noodles.
yes.
You never put that in your body, but anyway, that's what they've reduced us, that and sausage and bread basket. Let me tell you something about the bread basket, okay? We've had multiple doctors running the country, right, in big positions,
Yes.
and they've not come and corrected the bread basket. How come I can't eat a nice, healthy, lean cut of meat like the rich people could do? Let me show you what happened. The rich people, and I'm really trying not to call names, okay? But the rich people,
Mhm.
they have all colors. Their steak, right, and their lobster and their gourmet nice food went down from 12 to 10% VAT, right?
Mhm.
But we had to make up for that loss. You know where we made up for it? Yeah, it was 0% on the sick food that the masses have to eat. But now I went to 10. There was a 10% increase on your sick food so that my rich food could get cheaper. My God, as Papa would say. You see what just happened?
Yeah.
Now, why can't we let's start England. They got VAT on food. There are certain items. I have a friend from Belgium. He can't believe that we are so rich in the Bahamas. He said that we paint money. He said, I cannot believe you're so rich, because in Belgium, there are different VAT rates on different things. You don't put VAT on children's back to school supplies. You don't put it on food. You don't put it on medicine, but you put it on a new car. Well, things you can add value to, like if you grow sheep
Mhm.
and you make mutton and you package it and prepare it. See, we just bring everything in. We don't add value to it. And then we put tax on duty. How do you put VAT on duty? Do we put VAT on duty?
Mhm.
Yeah. Why? That's a double tax.
It is. Been arguing that for years.
That's how Robin Hood came about.
Yeah.
Taxing the people too much. So yeah, the tax is working, but I don't know what else is working 100%. And I'm not negative. When you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, you have to agree, you have to realize where you are in life, identify the problem, and then you fix it. It's all negative. I'm a realist, and I know to fix this really easy, because we only have but if we allow the world to export 10 million people here, right? Then it's hard to fix. See, we're dead rich because there's only a few of us. So is Bermuda, so is Cayman, so is a bunch of people in the region.
Let's talk some specifics now.
Yeah, man.
You're looking at the whole idea of the migration problem. That's a big thing. Ticket. Tell you why. Because if you see the powers that be get around to having an election anytime soon, the people are unprepared, which the other opposition parties fully unprepared right now. They're unprepared. If they wanted to,
Not the opposition. One of the opposition. Yeah.
no, one of the opposition.
They like to say official opposition. You remember that party was a third party. So don't say third parties can't go nowhere.
Of course.
Yeah.
See, but my point is this. If Brave wanted to, he could do some things right now. But they themselves are not ready to do anything right now because they too are in trouble, politically speaking. They just started a 3-year celebration. They hadn't been talking about. So they know that they're in trouble. They're still trying to sell all the old hotels that they were supposed to sell in that brand new kind. It's still a big problem.
Steve, why can't you take that hotel and make it a medical facility? First floor, rehab passages. Those
Yes.
people pay big money. Second floor,
Mhm.
cancer treatment that you can't do with experimental stuff in America, but people have the right to try, right? The next floor, cosmetic surgery, 90210, the best in the world, the most movie stars and people come here for cosmetic and they lay out in the beach and relax because you can't have excitement after you could make every floor something different. And that would create so much nurse, doctor, and everything else that goes with a hospital, okay? It doesn't have to be a hospital. I mean, hotel.
So how do you know that Brave Davis isn't going to tell you that's what's going to happen? A couple of days.
Man, if he does, if they do, I'm excited. You know, I mean, that would stimulate the whole economy.
They've just taken your idea and say, well, that's what we can do with that place.
Yes, medical
We can
tourism.
make it a medical tourism place.
Yeah.
You know, after all,
And one floor for our people.
during the Civil War, we had the people come here to get healing. You know,
Yes.
that's what happened. So,
World War II, if you know
World War
where
II.
was our first hospital?
yes, sir.
On top of the hill, not in a valley. Yes,
Right.
and it still stands, and I got photos.
Yes.
We own the land. Why wouldn't we just level all of that and make a world-class hospital there? 4 stories, 5 stories tall, with proper parking for 1,000 vehicles. It's in the center of the island. Saunders Beach is not the center of the island, and it's below.
I see you sound like you want to talk about hospitals.
No, man, we
let's
could
go
we
there.
could we could go
Let's
wherever
go
you
there.
want to go.
See,
What about every island in 50 years? Steve, run on your record. In 50 years, you've not. And when I say hospital, you know, it's not a big building. A hospital with one operating theater could be very small, 1 story. You could have put that in every capital of every island by now. Hey, 50 years later, look at Dubai. 20 years, they built a city look better than New York. They have oil. That isn't what it was built on. It was built on smarts.
I was getting back to something that I wanted to say.
Yeah.
This whole immigration thing, right?
Yeah.
Because of where we are right now, nearing the brink of elimination. That's what I call it.
Correct.
To the point where others want to come in and then more than likely will do that. That's what's going to happen. Feel it. But I'm saying to you, because where we are right now at Lincoln Baines Party and the others who are coming, the point is this: they have to now stop some things from happening right now before the next general election, because after the general elections, you see, it won't make a difference. You can say we ain't want that. They still can go vote, get the people in. They win the government, and that's it. You have no say after that. There's no recourse after that. There's no recourse.
Let me show you
What
how
can you do?
this is how dangerous it is. Canada is an English-speaking country for the majority of it. Yes, yes.
Yes.
But in Montreal, you have to speak French, and all labels on everything
Yes.
has to be bilingual.
Yeah. But you see, I'm saying to you, what we have here now, it's a timing element that we have to all agree on. If you want to fight, that's what I'm saying. In other words, if you want to fight, make the fight count, because you've got to first save the country from them fellas to go and do something else with this country, because after that election of 2026, I don't believe there's going to be any more space for anything to happen in this country.
January 10th. What is that?
Majority rule game. What are you saying about it?
I'm saying majority always rules in this country, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you have the confidence that the people will understand that they know.
If we don't understand what it means, other people may.
Okay.
These people, and I'm not picking any one person. People coming to our country come from countries with millions and millions and millions of people. Affect our people. I mean, if I go to Bermuda, right? What are their laws on immigration? Anyone listening, Google it, and then call Steve tomorrow. You'll be shocked. But we can't do that. Let's follow the Bermuda rules on immigration. TCI, Cayman.
We said we don't want to follow what they did down there out of the place with joints on the Haiti.
Yeah. Well, those people, they're Spanish and they sometimes, get excited. Yeah, we don't need that. But every issue in this country, if we put together a think tank, if we simply said, let's have a ballroom.
The tanks don't work anymore because the governors outlawed that. The people are not interested in it, and all that. That's why you have people like Lincoln Bain again, who is making sure that he can muster a whole lot of people and bring about that thinking tank, to the point where you can see everything amplified. Oh, we can do this, we can do that. Let's get the people to. That's what has to happen. But the people have first got to be motivated to do this kind of thing.
That 35 to 45-year-old bracket that's about to do something and vote, they could be vicious. They don't want to hear what you heard. They can't hear that drum beat.
Yes.
What baby boomers listen to and people older than us. They listen to a different tune. And if you ain't playing it, they tone deaf. And so the challenge for the COI is to explain to them how they can have ownership in the land and ownership in the economy. Because other people saying, we just gonna give you a job. They don't want a job.
But are you all doing that now? See, that is what you just got to take the fight to the people now.
We 2 years out. So you have to stay tuned, watch what is presented by the party. I don't want to preempt anything, but the vision of that party has more for all Bahamians, including these Bahamians, than I'm hearing from any of the other parties. And they can tell me anything now. And it's not about me, it's about all the 35 to 45-year-old people. Mouth could say anything. What are you going to do? You know what, Steve? Get the people something before they vote. How could you do that? That's the problem. And it is easy to get the people something before. If you got 40,000 young people right now that are sitting in their parents' home because they can never afford or have a dream of owning somewhere of their own in their own country, while 3 million acres of land just sits right there doing nothing.
That's a serious thing.
So you tell those people come together, right? And sign a petition. That's how we would have done it, right? But you don't do that. You let them go virtually and sign a petition. You go to any prime minister and he'll give you what you want.
You're on hard copy. Good afternoon. All is well, sir. Okay. Oh, okay. How you been? Everything that's fine. Bring it forward because it's all true. And I put them on myself, but not in the first game, but forward. And then when you listen to the prime minister, the stuff man to the bar. So that's what they do in the ground bar. They got people lying along with the bar, the line around the people. Yes. You want to try to say? Look at all our people who represent us. Nobody who's speaking up and being it. Wow. They come and with they should be time. And then it's just about the government for 30 million here, 50 million here. So nobody's sitting back and saying, well, how did how to get. And we all of this talks and it's new talks and talks on this. Well, water tax. Not yet. And they ain't about to pay nothing off. I don't see how I is as a representation of the country. So what do you represent? See, people will tell you don't come against people hard, but you have to because guess what? You fight to come and represent them with no idea just because you're party. I don't have to care too crap about your party. You feel what I said? I hear you, sir. Absolutely.
And the reason why you go to bond, you don't sell them.
No seller, sir. No seller.
You get people in this voice to sound, and then you correct what is the correct. I listen to this on radio.
Grand Rutherford, yeah.
They're trying to draw him in the teeth. They're trying to scar this monitoring. But neither one of them would bring what he's saying to the table. So why don't you go to
Not a one. No one. No one is bringing. Yeah. He's progressive in his thoughts.
You raise guys like the 35, like I think I don't want my women now. He keep them on his ring. I watch out. I want how long he's been in the whole split of living. You catch what I'm trying to say? I'm
Yes.
going to come up with no idea. I have seen one person. You know what gets me scared? How you come and sit with me with crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for this year, how much oh, let's get us up 30 grand here, 30 grand here. So we put any body of power in the front of court to convict them.
No, sir. It won't happen. There is no justice in this town, man.
You have the law of the Constitution, which guarantee that maybe given to do certain things in the country. But then you look around, right? I cried, listen, 3/4 my blood strength. And I keep telling people, they don't know what they're going to find. Do you know, every time I listen to the church, the couple I was, the piece of touch hair, put him on his head, I don't put shit at all. That's what I said. You can't bring that person to the other side. Him and Jamal here, the 3/4 is fine.
And it's not. Freeport is not fine. It's not fine.
Country not is judged on wealth, right? Like how much millionaires you create. What was the status of millionaires and stuff like that? You know how much poor people you create. Poor people will always be rich people don't understand. Always, no matter what you could. The poverty has caused so much change, right? And God, I'm taking my serious. I never took a picture like this, but I'm on the side. I'm trying to listen to this guy here. I'm feeling, you don't understand. I might not be around so you could go that if I will. To be fair, most of the knowledge you could find right now is a graveyard. I don't know if I go like that.
Very, very true.
Because you got a hardcore with this shit with your elders, right? You can get elders with your look here. If you have a call, go take this push, that push it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right? You know what I mean? But they have this side, tell it to protect. It has my feelings to see that. Look up here, John. I listened to this man from Freeport. He knows what Freeport is for. What I asked, he brings from Freeport. I listened to the man who sits on the side. So who is from you? But he has all that gloom like that. I ain't telling you what you can do.
My Lord.
We are people with monostock stakes. And none of these companies are Freeport. None of these companies are Freeport. Have no U.S. companies are Freeport. But then you have a prime minister sitting up talking about we pay roads. Who cares? We just run the water line. Who cares?
You're supposed to be doing that.
Who cares? That's your job. Maybe
Yes.
something that you put on.
Something innovative, something a landmark, something that can help the people. Yes.
Imagine me. You let me in the studio and I can't do home. I regulate your studio. You want it. You got the full story telling you to the regulate what the hobby that we don't care. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I got you.
You can tell if I go away for something and bring it back. You put tax on that. Then when I got a movement, you put another tax on that.
Double tax and straight through.
Not only get you paid, the foreign party, get you paid, the government. I'm throwing on, let me ask you a question. And this is a question I want to ask. I wanted to, there's something to walk around this for, I guess, for around, but how do you split 250 on it? I want any legal mind tell me how do you pay light bill, water bill, rent, and plus take care of life insurance for $250.
That's right. That's right.
So who's the problem in the house? Because if the woman look at the man and oh, you're the good, you see where arguments start?
Absolutely.
Because you're not giving us clear
They're
opportunity.
antagonizing the people, man. That's what's happening.
Do you know get on the front foot? And I Yeah, and I said this on the pick up. Mr. I want to represent us again. You watch it. The foreigners, they got in a shipyard coming in. They got this other company. See, they ain't nothing to this. And these people are bringing in these people. By the 100, 3.7 pure Ukrainians and people from the Middle East.
Is that right?
You hear what I said? Okay. Then I said, give us the human jobs, you know, the type of jobs together. You see over this book, pages. Don't you ever fool yourself. And these one or two people, they grab it from the court, put in high position, and people are in high position, they move the kill. But the majority of them, you're killing it. Okay, over, let's just say, 500 jobs. You didn't say keep 500 jobs.
No.
Okay, do that. I think the government thing.
Mhm.
You get it right time, now you might have a 150. I don't know, 150, 75 without a forest.
My Lord. My Lord.
You go show up with something, they all about people. What's all of it ever? Society will try to show with. But when you go inside, don't look at the lip of walking around. Look at those who are talking about it. All of them for it. It's the same thing I try to say. That's what Freeport, that's what guides me. I come up there and I moves to the crochet place trying to set it up himself. Or Paul McKinney. They don't see nobody. They got a foreign German company, whoever that is, go to the garden and grow. The four bus clouds them when they come to ship, get them straight. And then flip them back. And can't tell you the people great the people that stuff. Sometimes I'm not just saying I can put it by body business over there. Sometimes she may tell you all that. But here's the trick. She may follow up. Sometimes she gets the bus the things that she makes me. It doesn't make any sense.
$2. She made that. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
People like that, when they get in the break, the meal they able to pay is more expensive than anything we eat for a year. They help you understand that I'm trying to say that you got a group of young people who are frustrated. You don't believe what you're saying because the police, the corruption and these guys, this and that. But then when you put me for peace and call me, do shit.
Tell you what, I hear what you're saying, my brother. We can leave it there because I got a lot of it. I appreciate it. Thank you for your thoughts. I thank you so much.
So Steve,
Go ahead.
if he can hear me, they have you in survival mode.
That's what it is.
What it means is you're running from 5 pit bulls, right? And while you're running from 5 pit bulls, you really not thinking about, child, what I should have for dinner
No,
tonight.
sir.
What I could do on
You just wanna stay
vacation.
at your backside.
Yes. So they have Freeport in survival mode. And it's really sad because we've had 50
But why do
years.
you think that is happening? You see, there
Yeah, but
got
50
to be
years.
a reason for this whole money.
You had 5 MPs, right?
Yes,
And 1 minister, 6 people.
yes.
And at one time, I believe they all were on the same
Hey,
side, same party.
Mhm.
So if they could have fixed it, it would be fixed. To quote C. Alan Johnson, sometimes he says things, and I agree with him. We KCX, me and many others have been protesting and all over the place, World Trade Organization and many different things. But
yes.
C. Alan said if they could have fixed it in 50 years, they would have fixed it. He said this on your show many times. And he said, but much more egregious is if they could have fixed it and they didn't fix it. You know what that means? They didn't want to, right? Because they may have been on someone else's team, not yours. So my question is, right? Why would you join up with somebody that didn't fix it?
And not only that, why would you want to keep them around for so long when they should be fired? I mean, that's it. See, you ain't performed the job that the Lord gave you to do. And, don't tell me you ain't want to hear that. I ain't telling you the truth. God gave you a job to do. You're supposed to be serving the people, and you're not doing it. The people in Grand Bahama right now, I've got people down there all the time. They tell me that
They mashed right
it's
up.
a hard thing for them to swallow. They're looking at this whole thing. What I did the show yesterday with Obi, the repeat show
Yeah.
that I did on it, staff.
Mhm.
And I did that show. I got all kind of calls last night. And when I did that show, the people are saying, but it is worse now.
Then
It is worse. It
Yeah.
is worse. We thought that we were getting into something that we could have dealt with. We decided we were going to give Brady Davis and this company a chance because of the fact that, they believe that they owed us so much, and they had mercy on Mr. Wilscombe, and they felt that then, and they were thinking that they were going to get a better deal right now, but it has gotten worse.
I'm showing Steve right now, West End. Does this look like, this looks like a shanty town, no roads, everything
Yes.
built up, and
Yes.
and this is West End for some. And for others, they're in $1 million condos. While this, we're giving a big cruise ship a bunch of land in Freeport. What will we get out of this? See, you have to put the people first. When foreign investors go to Canada, the minister says, what's in it for my people? Not jobs. What part of ownership? What part of ownership, when you go to Canada and you want to invest, the minister says, what is in it for my people? Not job.
Yeah, but you see, our people don't do that.
We come and say how many jobs you bring in.
Yeah, how much job? Oh, we can tell them to give them a job. What's in this for us? How are you gonna fix the government? How are you gonna fix our
But we tell you, make an announcement, 3 billion's on the ground, 5 billion is coming.
See,
Where's the accounting for the 3 and 5 billion? How do we ever know what was truly spent, Steve? Is there accounting?
Nobody wants to even.
But we know we gave you the land, though. We gave you the land. You ever thought about this? Look at Ginn.
Mhm.
You see everything that was dug out,
Yes, I do.
right? Where's the fill?
In somebody's yard or something.
No. See, I asking you because I gave you land, right?
Mhm.
I gave you land in West End, and you didn't follow through with the project, right? You said,
But the fill gone.
Phil, see, you catching on, Steve, to what's really going on in the country, because people don't look at this, but acres of fill gone.
Yes.
How much is that worth? Because we keep talking about this aggregate. There it is. And I could show you countless ones of these throughout the Bahamas. Isn't that sad?
Very sad.
Who made the money? Where'd it go?
We have to do something, and that's why I came to you.
That money could have gone to the last caller.
The people must fight. The people must fight their way through this thing.
Think of this, Freeport. I know you got a call. But think of this, Freeport. Somebody took your VAT from 7% to 12%.
Just like that.
Doubled your tax on top of your duty.
You got paid.
You heard the man crying?
Double duty.
Double duty and raise it twice. That's how rich we are. We can afford to pay that, though.
Good afternoon, Hot Copy. How are you? You're on with Graham. Also, yes.
Hey.
Thank you, sir.
One of the brightest brands is residential area. Solutions to solve all of that. If the Bahamas government they're not listening. They're hearing, but they're not listening. Okay, because if they had heard, if they were listening to what the people have been saying, a whole lot of this, the low fee, the better thing, would have been solved right now. Let me bring something that Graham is in studio and get back to the has the number one energy source that can be found all around the world. But because of our proximity in the world and our location, we have the other elements that will help us to become wealthy people in this country without the government even really lifting the finger.
Understood, yeah.
What I mean by that is this. Saying that Grand Bahama is recognized by many of us as the industry capital of the country. And seeing that we have all of our natural resources, that for instance, one special resource that we can really capitalize on right now, that's solar panels. You know, we have the water, we have the recognize, we have all of the elements here to actually go into manufacturing. We have persons here who are now specialists in their own right, dealing with solar panels, solar installation, and so on and so forth. Why is it that since our Prime Minister who seems to want to behave as if he is the climate whatever around the world, going all around the world talking about this stuff. Why hasn't he put his mouth where the money is supposed to be? And what I mean by that is we should be collecting monies, seeing that we're borrowing all this money. He should have been in Grand Bahama right now promoting the aspect of perhaps we should be now be manufacturing solar panels to ship around the world.
Exactly.
You know, we should have our team of professionals.
He's not capitalizing on this whole thing. He's not capitalizing on it.
Capitalizing in one shape or order with nothing. You need to look at the principles.
Yes.
In the company that brings all
Well, we know the story. We know.
Coming where the average man who has been doing this country, you can be really want them to have a stake in these companies. No, the government, the money that the government borrows should have been going into this industry to build this into a viable industry that the Bahamian people can capitalize and also create what you call a retirement fund from.
Absolutely, spot on.
Just one industry that we should be focused on right now today. But the Prime Minister, and I'm now targeting him specifically, because you see, young words have got to line up with your deeds. You can't go around the world telling everybody the carbon credit. And you are not here in the country.
See, for us, it's public relations. For them, it's the real money deal for them. For us, just tell them something. They'll be happy with that. We also want to qualify our trips, you see, qualify our trips to go to these places that we are going to. And so they'll know what the PR is on it. That the PR stuff for them. That's what's for them. PR. That's what they're dealing with. And we keep accepting it because we wouldn't take a stand. We would not stand up and say, look, we have got to do something to correct this problem in this country. That's why I'm talking with the COI people today. That's why I'm talking with Graham. And that is one of the reasons why I'm trying to promote the idea that there are other ideas out here, other than myself, other than other people who've been on the show before, other ideas out here that we need to capitalize on, and we need to force the government to break. We want a breakthrough in the life of the Haitian people. That's what I'm saying.
Exposing to the Bahamian public that there are many Bahamians out here, average Bahamians out here, Bahamians who may not have gone to university and gone off to college, but they have enough common sense.
Absolutely.
I have an input to what the industry can be like for the prosperity of the Bahamian people. My whole thing is I don't believe that any of these parties, especially this current administration, has no true interest in bringing real prosperity.
Yeah, that Graham? They have no true interest. Of course not. Amen.
Should be a part of this world. Living a comfortable life in this country, but yet they're keeping us at this whole point. And it's up to we, the Indian folk, the public, to send a clear definitive message that enough is enough. We want ours, and they're coming for ours. Okay? And
Sure.
my commentary here, because it is very frustrating when we talk like this, when we show the Indian public that we are being taken for a ride, and they choose to stay on the ride instead of trying to get off the ride and help us. Well, we are fighting for the average Bahamian, trying to educate the average Bahamian, trying to it's hard to get instead of the arms of the table.
Absolutely. Thank you very kindly.
So
Yeah,
Steve,
what do you think of that?
looking at the time, right?
Mhm.
Let me just crack my head open a little bit and hit the speed round with some ideas.
Please.
You might want to put your seatbelt on. This is Fix for Grand Bahama, okay? But I'm gonna hit you on a couple different things. Let's look at VAT. How much has been collected? 5 billion, 10 billion, 15 billion? What is our national debt? Have we collected more VAT than our national debt? Because if we have, we should have no debt and we should have no VAT. That's a question that we need to ask, and we need a forensic audit by KPMG and Deloitte and Touche.
Yes.
Two people, and I like to do it locally, but this way we have to step offshore. Two people with reputations that you cannot sway them, if you know what I'm saying to you. That's the first thing needs to happen. In Freeport, right? Let's start in Freeport because many years ago somebody said hire 50,000 Bahamians, take them to Freeport and build a new city. That was revolutionary, you know, Steve, in the 50s. But we didn't negotiate for our people. You see, it should have been half us and half for the foreign investor. Because right now he wouldn't be crying about Freeport. Every Christmas he'd get a big fat dividend check. Because if they made 100 billion, 50 for them, 50 to be divided equally amongst every citizen living here. Nothing to Nassau. Don't give it to the central government. This is the local government thing that the COI is talking about.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have to call me because you want to change the washing machine in your house in Freeport. Don't call me the minister. You should be able to do that yourself. That's what Mr. Bain is saying. Freeport was set up not for tourism. Tourism was a byproduct for the people when they came. It was for industry.
Mhm.
Jeffrey R. Davis told me, Graham,
Yeah.
have a symposium worldwide. Tell the people what we have. You get Elon Musk and you say, build a Tesla here, right? Number 1, 2, 3 car company in the world, right? And he builds that there in a gigafactory. Why? No tax. You
Tell
can't
people
even.
what we have.
You
Tell the people, yeah, but
I mean, they don't even.
not been saying anything to the people what we have.
No.
They almost like looking at Freeport and saying that's a different place. We don't have nothing to do with that.
Yeah. It's crazy what we're not doing with what we have. You're hiding your talent, like the story in the Bible. Steve, first time ever, you had some guys on your show talking about Bitcoin from
Yes.
the US.
Mhm.
I want to give you a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You have your let me show you it.
This is it.
You have your very own Bitcoin now. No, that's a novelty. It's worth nothing. It's just a novelty. But you can tell the world you have your Bitcoin. Now, in 2017, I went on another radio station, right? With Lester Cox, who's not here. He's traveling or he's doing some other position.
Right.
And I said, why don't we become the crypto capital of the
Yes, I remember.
world? 2017, we could have come out with our own coin called a conch coin. I said this because the $1966 has a conch on it.
Right.
You know that, the silver
Yes,
dollar?
silver dollar.
No, sand dollar. Sand dollar in my head is brittle. You ever step on one of them? But a conch, that's a strong currency. And so I chose that and I said, let's use the
I like
conch.
that.
Yeah.
That
I said,
is a strong currency.
yeah. I said, it's going to be strong because we're going to back it by our what? Calcium carbonate, aggregate, sand,
Right. All
oil,
the things
natural gas.
that make
So
your
you
bits
come
happy.
to the Bahamas, right? We don't trade in your funny currency. Whatever one you bring here, you can't spend Canadian money here, right? You have to trade it up for US dollars and then Bahamian dollars, right? So trade up to our conch coin. It would have given it intrinsic value out of the gate, Steve. We have value. See, you know why some money's the petrodollar is worth money because backed by oil, right?
Absolutely.
We would have had a currency. So instead, we came with the sand dollar digital money. Should have had a digital conch coin, but we could have gone straight to crypto, that Bitcoin. Now, banking 2.0, because we need a banking 2.0. We've lost that offshore banking thing. It's not what it was. You remember we used to employ 600 people at the Prime Minister's office, where it was Roy West, NatWest, Coates & Co., whatever it went through. Remember that?
Mhm.
You bring banking 2.0 through a crypto exchange, not how we did it. Let's do it the right way, okay? Because it did make billions and billions, didn't it? FTX.
Yes.
If we'd have done that in Freeport and done that with Bahamians having ownership with the DARE Act in the central bank, we're already prepared to go, you know. We should have done it that way. But let's make it better. How do you make that Bitcoin better? They say it uses too much electricity, right? That's the biggest complaint about crypto. And on your show, the guys said how they were using energy from, you know, Niagara Falls, basically, and different things. Hey, we got the sun. We could set up a solar farm in Freeport to run the crypto exchange. We would be carbon neutral crypto. Carbon neutral crypto. Elon Musk who builds the Tesla car, the Tesla
Yes.
battery electric, he has not said that yet. So when he says it, you just remember on this show, you heard about carbon neutral crypto. And our governments know about it. It's nothing that hasn't been shown to them. Okay? So we could have turned Freeport around with a crypto exchange capital of the world. Instead, that young man and billions of dollars, and we got a little egg on our face. But any press is good press. We could use that to say the government of the Bahamas is going to do something and it's going to be backed by us. You see, so it has value. Well, and it gets better, you know. It gets so much better, Steve, because you could do, see, you can do solar, but Venezuela has gas for 12 cents a gallon. You could take your cube to Venezuela and fill it up for $1.20. Now everything here is double, right? So let's bring it here for 24 cents a gallon. You can fill up your cube, your Paso, any of your right-hand drive car for $2.40 at 24 cents a gallon. And what if you get this fuel and you start putting in generator? Remember Leslie Miller, Petrocaribe? That wasn't a joke. Remember AES in Bimini? South, down there in Ocean Key? See, I lived all of this, you know. I'm not reading from a script. We could talk about any of these things. But when you borrow money, you borrow for a return on investment. You borrow $50,000 for a used Mercedes now, but you make it a taxi. So it starts to make you $100,000 after 5 years.
That's right.
You don't borrow for that car and give it to a sweetheart and she broke it up. That's a lot. That's a bad thing to borrow for, you know. But in 2017, I said, let's do the crypto capital. Yeah. You know what's happening, Steve? Look here. Look at me. 18, 19, 20, 21. 4 years later, the president of El Salvador took his whole country to Bitcoin. And they said he was a fool because it was like, you know, $7,000 a coin. And he was losing money because it would dip down to 6,000. And they say he lost. Hey, it's 60 grand today. Wonder if they still call him a fool.
No.
You know, I told that radio talk show host, buy one. It was $3,000. Today it's 60,000.
Good evening, Steve. Please ask Graham what the COI plan to do to alleviate the property tax from inland revenue. A lot of Bahamians are greedy because they receive notices to put their property up for auction if the outstanding amounts, which are so astronomical, in the thousands, cannot be paid. Some people are becoming homeless because they are not able to pay. So what's the COI going to do about the plans to alleviate the property tax from inland revenue?
You know, I'm not going to be pretending that I'm the Minister of Finance, but I can't understand in the richest country in the hemisphere why we would have a tax on our people. Why don't we, Steve, you pay business license, you pay garbage disposal contract, you pay all kind of tax, right? And you pay property tax for commercial property, so it just went up. And the Airbnb, you think you can get away? No, your houses can become commercial, so they're going to tax you commercial property tax, then garbage disposal, then NIB letter of good standing. Then you're going to have 7 taxes put on you. You're going to cry to go back to that hotel. And I told ministers of tourism, 2 of them, I wouldn't call names, that when we started making money using the internet, right, in the conceptual economy, to make money off this Airbnb, right, they do taxes out of it. And it doesn't start VAT. So what about that? Should be no tax. Why don't we tax 1% of gross on them cruise ships? And my accountants go on board. Not your accountants, my accountants, to make sure that your accountant, and I give my accountant percentage of that, so he could be very happy not to be corrupt. Because why don't I charge all the cash banks 1% of gross? Do they pay 1% of gross? Do they pay a flat license fee? Yeah. How come we don't do that in this business, Steve? We tax the bejesus out of the Bahamians, but we don't tax the foreigners the same as Bahamians. And you know what I'd propose? That we tax the foreigner the way we taxed us for the last 50 years, and tax us the way we tax the foreigners for the next 50.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say that's the policy, but I'm telling you, why would you have to tax us when you have this much wealth, $3 trillion? I ever showed you that? The most honorable Minister of Financial Service, Trade and Industry, and Immigration, he had all 3, said that the Bahamas trades goods and services $3 trillion. Do you know how much that is? That's 12 zeros behind the 3. If you were to tax at 12% VAT, which it was at the time, November 5th, 2018, National Guardian, I can show it to you. And I got 10 copies. It'd be 360 billion with 9 zeros. Now, 360 billion, Steve, right? How many days in a year? That's almost a billion a day. You can't give my mother a little bump in the pension. I know you make stupid money because you're painting quarters. You're painting quarters. Steve, you know what rich people do? Let's put some humor to this. You and the wife living in Lyford Key in the Mercedes and the BMW full of gas, right? And you go, honey, what we could do today? I don't know, honey. We could just buy some paints and we could put some paint on quarters. Rich people do crazy, eccentric things.
That's what you.
Trump and Obama cannot paint their silver.
And we can pay it out.
That makes me the richest country in the hemisphere or the stupidest one. And I know we're not stupid. We have some of the smartest people. They so smart. They hoodwink and bamboozle and fool.
Give me the theory behind painting.
Money. Here, man. I don't know if you got one. I give you a quarter too. You got a Bitcoin quarter off me today.
When I put the thing in,
Hold that up for the camera. You want me to hold it up for the camera?
When I first saw the thing, right? I said, "This is paint on this." I said, "Who paint this quarter?" That's what I said. I thought it wasn't good.
Yeah,
it wasn't good.
You thought it was a joke, hey?
I said, "Somebody paint this quarter."
Yeah.
I gotta put this. I put it on the side.
Right.
I put it on the side. I said, "This ain't good."
Right.
Because I say they paint the quarter. What's that for? I don't know.
Now you do research. Call somebody at Bahamas Information. Ask them how many millions or how much money what we spend to paint the money.
You don't know a thing. I tell you that now. You hear me say it live just now.
But the governor of central bank's a very honest, smart man. You should give him a buzz and say, "Chief, how much we spent for them?"
I gotta call him.
Yeah.
Man,
you paint a quarter. Tell me you ain't rich. Poor people don't do that. People running from the dog ain't sitting down talking about, child, I wonder if we could just paint these quarters today at the beach, you know? I mean, you got to bust out laughing. You can't, as Adrian, my friend Adrian, you can't make it up. And I mean,
do you think that they painted it because
that's not paint. You can put that in gasoline. That will not come off. That it appears to be a ceramic baked on coating, and that's not cheap.
What I'm saying, the coat of arms is
on the backside. Yeah.
So here it is. You got the coat of arms on it,
colored.
So I'm saying, if are they trying to just impress the people with this is the quarter. This is the quarter. This is the Bahamian quarter.
No, we show, whether you come from the Philippines, you come from Haiti, Jamaica, Canada, we letting you know we rich. We don't play.
Somebody please call me and tell me why they pay the 25
and not the rest of the money.
Please tell me, okay? I want to know.
You know what's
because it seems to be foolish to me. Honestly, it does.
But you say you can't help give what is owed to the police or the armed forces or the nurses. You keep that, and every time they say they ain't got no money, you show them that. You know what, Steve? Let me show you some brilliance, okay? In the U.S., they don't have a $3 bill. They have a $2 bill, right? They say it's crooked as a $3 note whenever, you know, they're making a joke, right? So one of our leaders said, hey, we can make a $3 bill. And for a worthless piece of paper like toilet tissue, that $3 paper, money can't spend it nowhere, right? They gave us 3 U.S. valuable dollars. That man made millions right there. Bam, just doing that. 15-cent piece. They buy that. See? Yeah.
I've got to run to a break.
We soon have to run to the bathroom because of the craziness that's going on. It's just crazy.
Paying the quarter. Now, when I saw that, I said, no, this can't be real. So I didn't look at the whole thing about it, say whether it's ceramic and all that kind of stuff. I just see the quarters painted.
Yes.
I looked at the back piece where I see the sailboats on the back piece, right?
Yeah.
I said, no, why did they do that? And I just chuckled and said, I don't know what they did. I didn't even think that that would be an issue. But you see, you're right about an issue in that they must be damn crazy to
or
do this kind of stuff.
Rich.
To do. We have so much things to do with money. We have to spend that money and make sure that the money is reaching the food stores. The people are able to buy food.
You couldn't lower the VAT?
Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. So let me run to the break and pay some bills. And when I come back, we'll just continue with our show. It's 6:38 in the country. It is Thursday. We've got Graham Weatherford on our show on Thursday. He's from the COI. He's got a billion bunch of ideas that he's trying to throw quickly at you. And I know you're not going to get all of it one time, but bit by bit, we're kind of like introducing him to you today. So you can see that he's a man of finesse. He's a man who understands a lot of things that can happen for we, the people in this country. And we better start thinking real that we want to fight like hell for this particular country at this particular time. Okay? So we're going to come back when we pay some bills, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Good afternoon to everyone watching this broadcast. Thank you for tuning in. They are on a commercial break, but I've sought for this commercial break because remember, we're having a tea party in Grand Bahama at Taino Beach, and it's going to be on Saturday, so make sure you are there. Looking forward to seeing all of you. I'm going to be there. You're going to hear from me. I'm going to be in place, so make sure you are there. Come out to Taino Beach and be a part of what we are doing. Support the movement. If you're a supporter, there it is. It's on Taino Beach, and children is $10 and adults are $25. And so it's going to be food and all that other stuff there. It was an amazing thing last time, and everything was good. So it's Saturday, and it's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Saturday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at Pirates Cove, Taino Beach. That's Saturday the 28th. So make sure you are there and you are part of what we are doing. All right. So we got more to talk about on Steve's show. We'll send you back over to their studio so you could hear some more about that once the commercial break is finished. But this is what we're about. We're about vision. We're not going to be about the back and forth and attacking and et cetera, et cetera. We're going to be about exposing the truth, exposing what's going on, and showing you a vision for the new Bahamas. And so that's what we're going to be about. We are so proud of the candidates. You're going to hear from more of them periodically. You're going to hear from more of them. They're going to be coming on the shows and talking and letting you hear more about the vision. All right. I'm going to do a quick pop-up live tomorrow, probably at 10 or 11 a.m. So just look out for it, because I got to talk about Chrislyn Skippins and her statement that the photo that's going around is a dated photo. We're going to deal with them. All right. The police shouldn't be lying to us. I have a serious problem with that. And so we're gonna deal with that. All right. So tomorrow I'm gonna do a quick just pop up live. So make sure you are there. I probably will do it at about 10 a.m. or somewhere around there. Make sure you're there to hear and see what I have to say. Be careful trusting this particular police force. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to send it back over to them at the studio. I think we got probably another minute more on the commercial break. And somebody say, I love Graham about converting. Look at yes, he's a man of vision, and we are very proud of him and looking forward to him being in the cabinet of the Bahamas. We're going to reveal our shadow cabinet soon, and you're going to see who's going to be there in different places to make this change that we need to see. Or we could just keep going with the PLB and F&M and keep going backwards. It's up to you. You have a choice. I think New Vision is much better. But thank you for tuning in. We'll get back to the studio.
Featuring the very best in seafood. Eat the street chipping ham. Telephone 803-5153. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And
I
on
mentioned the
Sundays
gas.
from 7 a.m.
I didn't put it on.
The behaviors of what's going on. Very informative. I love listening to this show every 5 o'clock. When it's 5 o'clock, it's peak.
He's a wonderful guy. And, the station, channel, I love the station. You guys are doing very good. And keep it up.
Wednesday talks, everybody listen. The windows move quick. Every day he got this sound hot coffee, hot coffee. Say McKinney, you know that for sure. On Mondays through Fridays, still give you the score. Hot coffee. Say McKinney.
Here we are, 6:48 is the time right now in the city. It's Thursday here in the Bahamas. And yeah, boy, we were having a good time today because we're talking about the COI and the new prospects that they have within the COI. Group of 19 have already been named so far. And imagine if Mr. Bain and the others decide that they're going to name another 19 and they're getting closer to the mark. And at this particular point in time, 3 years into the PLP's administration, they are turning heads. The COI are now turning heads. Take it from me. I tell you the truth. We won't lie about it. They're turning heads because everybody has been calling me politicians and the rest of them, they're calling me saying, "What you already think with the COI?" And I'm saying, "Well, what do you mean what I think about it?" See, I say, "You all don't want to talk on the talk radio show. You all been ducking the Bahamian people. Why should we be listening to what you have to say now?" And I said to one in particular, high-ranking fellow, I said to him, "You all have gone and brought back Clint Watson to go over at ZNS and to preach your stuff when he was just fired for incompetence at the office of Prime Minister as the press secretary. But you now want me, a big man like me, to believe what he is saying now. Why should I believe him? Why should I believe him?" And that's the question that's going around in circles right now. Everybody's saying, why should we believe what Mr. Watson is saying? It's nothing personal with him because I like him.
Yep.
But the point is, why should we, the Bahamian people, believe what he's saying now? Because he's saying it. He just was fired from the Prime Minister's office just last year. He went to ZNS as a general manager. And by the way, this is something else that you need to know. He cannot be doing a broadcast, under the broadcast. He cannot be, as the general manager, doing a broadcast with Davis or anyone else. He cannot be doing it. He cannot, and let me say it clearly, he cannot be doing it. Just check your Broadcasting Corporation Act. Please. He can't do it. But he is doing it because he can get away with it. And they're letting him do it because they need him. They need Clinton now. They need him. He's the only one who they got. The rest of the media turned their back on the Brave Davis administration. That's what is actually happening. That's the off story that people don't see. Because they've turned their back, he really ain't trusting them like that. He's depending upon Mr. Watson to bring him over the finish line. Because they're in trouble. That's why he can't call the election. They're in trouble right now. Them and the PLP are in trouble. That's the bottom line. So at the end of the day, you don't talk on me, and I ain't gonna say nothing on you. There was a song that Duke Arrow used to sing. Don't you tell on me, and I won't tell on you. Because if you tell on me, I will tell on you. So Duke Arrow Strong used to say that though. Because they can't talk with each other. And that's what the dilemma is. That's why this country is in this downward spiral. We don't know what we're doing. They've run out of ideas to the point where now they're saying things like, "Oh, let's tax them on the water. Let us tax the water, the well water. We can tax that." So he said, no, we didn't say that. We didn't say that. We were just floating that. That was a float. Yes, you had a float on, but it got turned down because when I put Lincoln Bean on this show, along with myself, I gave him hell. How you can tax the people well water? And I'm talking about people straight across the board, just white and black people, See, a lot of them got well water that they pump out the ground with the electrical pumps and stuff like that. And so they still made out of the now they say, well, the IED says that, that water is contaminated. So you shouldn't be using that water. That's the nonsense what they're telling you.
Who contaminated it? What happened over there by the mall? You remember? You remember what happened over there by Cable?
By Cable, by Rubens, the gas station over there.
What were the fines and charges?
Nothing. I don't know.
Nothing? You don't do that in America and don't have a fine. Steve, let me show you one quick thing.
Well, they lost the whole building, so they had to move out of the building. So I know they were.
Did anything go into the water table? And how far did it go? How far did it go?
It went around the surrounding area. That's a fact.
And is it staying in a little contained area, or is it going further?
It's going to go further. That's how the water thing sits.
Anyway,
but you see, I'm just saying to you, when you get a group of people who are run out of ideas, they're empty. If you're going to go as a prime minister, and I'm saying this, not you, if you're going to go as a prime minister and go all the way back 50 plus years, you grew up bathing on the back porch. At least I did. Bathing on the back porch with well water. But you want to take the people of the 21st century in the year 2004, 2024. Back in the day, and tax them on what? Well water? Are you crazy? I had to ask that to Mr. Davis. It cannot be right. So they had to pull that back. And I believe that they did the right thing in pulling that back, and they must never bring it up again. It must never be mentioned off their lips again. Not in the history of the Bahamas. Not as long as I'm around. But I'm showing you, they're in trouble. And because they're in trouble, you need to have the others who are coming along, like the Lincoln Baines and the Graham and Fords and all the Charlotte Green and them. We need to have these new people. The new people are going to drive us into where we're supposed to go. Whether you believe it or not. It may not happen in my time, but it's going to happen. And that's why we cannot afford for this election cycle to come around. They get these other people to vote in your area that they are not supposed to be voting in as a block. As a block of people saying that they can vote because they have the rights to vote in this country under our Constitution. It must not happen. That's why a lot of things are boiling up into one big episode where that's why the Patriots have been out there doing some things to make sure that that can't happen. You need to get involved, people. It's a very sobering, I'm telling you, that you need to get involved. If you don't get involved, and how can you get involved? Just go to the people who know what's going on, and they will tell you. And by the way, we're going to be getting ready to do a lot of international ads on the new day that we are thinking of in the Bahamas. Not only that, on the new area of where you have to make sure that these lawyers can be paid to make sure that they do what they have to do to save us from ourselves. Because we about to just freak out. We're so overwhelmed, we're about to freak out. That must not happen. So everybody's holding the fort. That's what's happening right now. Now, Graham, back to you. I know, that there's some things that you've got to talk about today.
But I'm watching the time. Why has the majority of the banks in the Bahamas, why have the majority of the banks in the Bahamas been Canadian? Over 120 years, one brags.
Mhm.
You don't be somewhere for 120 years unless you're good to you.
Gotta be good. Give up all that stuff.
When you don't give me the tea and coffee and biscuit, remember we used to go in the bank and get them
Right.
and treat me good anymore. Right now you charge me fee just to get my cash out of the bank, right?
Right.
And when you take this fee and you convert it and repatriate the money, you convert it into US dollars because you can't say Bahamian dollar to Canada.
Mhm.
And when that $100 in fees US gets to Canada, how much is it, Steve, in their money? 130, 140, depending on the day, right? Could you make 40% on your money?
No.
Anywhere in the world? You could do it off the back of poor people, rich people here, sorry, because we got that painted money. And that's what they've been doing. And now they want to disrespect me and make me stand out in the hot sun.
No coffee, no biscuit.
And go to the machine and the machine ain't working. And one bank say they cash.
Water.
Steve, how does a bank be cashless? I went downtown and the bank tell me it's cashless. That's like going in the food store and say, we ain't got no food, we're foodless. But we're a food store. I almost fell down. I said, what this is? You don't make me call the name. But anyway, that's how you treat me while making 30 to 40% on me every day. And then you can't even, you got to come and repossess and carry on like I'm a criminal. Yeah. No, you've been doing well off of me. And they got the people in survival mode. We have to get the people out of survival mode so they can relax and learn. What is money? We never taught our people money. We taught economics and finance and all. We never taught money. Mm-hmm. There's three things on money, Steve. Poor people, middle class, and rich people. Poor people think money is to go pay bills, right? Right? Yeah. Catch the bus. Maybe buy a used car for $1,000 and have to, whatever. And the middle class people think you get them $50,000 a year. They go into the bank to get them a big house and a big BMW they can't afford. That money is to go in. We were all middle class. We were the largest middle class in the hemisphere in the 80s. But rich people think, and this is what we should teach our people, money is something you invest to make more money and have babies, and you take that money and buy the car cash. Now, when the economy fails, guess who gets hurt first? The middle class. And we were the largest middle class, remember? So we're the largest hurt and suffering right now, right? The eyes are the windows to the soul. And if you look at people in the eye right now, they look like they're ready to cry. They don't know what to do.
Absolutely.
The house getting repossessed, the car in trouble too. They ain't got this money. Gas has gone so high. That's why I focus on gas and on renewable energy, because energy will make or break a business or a country. And that's why in the US, you hear them talking about energy. You hear them talking about immigration. They've been listening to me, eh?
Apparently so.
That must be. Now, I don't talk immigration. The leader of the party of the COI talks immigration because he knows more about that. I know more. If you don't get this cost of living or doing business down, the place is finished.
Collapse.
You will see it. You will see it. And the death grip on energy here and making money off of the backs of the poor people is going to kill us. Anyway, I'll leave you with that, Steve. And one more thing. When people look at me, they mistake me for chicken. I'm pork, the other white meat. Don't confuse me with those elites.
I get you.
But we could fix the Bahamas, and this could be done so quick and easy. I mean, as simple as 1.5 months, John Boswick said we could float in a power barge and our energy could cut in half. If your light bill cut,
We refuse to do that.
if we cut the light bill in half before Christmas, if before Christmas we could get gas for 24 cents a gallon, you'll have the best Christmas you ever had from before Linden Finland, because gas wasn't that cheap then.
These guys,
That's something, eh?
These guys,
No, they don't want to pivot or evolve.
They want to pivot. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Because they're friends and lovers and family and everybody else is involved, and so that's how this thing goes.
Yeah, but I can help them make that pivot. Yeah, seriously. If they help Mr. Bain and the COI, we could help them pivot. They could go and get the solar, put it on the homes and the business here for free, and cut your bill tremendously. So we don't have to cut them out. I mean, they've made enough, right? But if you don't have to cut them out, and they might do this announcement in the next couple of weeks and say it was there, and it's cool because we'll all benefit. You see?
You see, but they want to call you what? Idiots. That and the biggest idiots are those people who are in charge of the country and don't know what to do with the country, what they're in charge of, and as a result of it, we are not going anywhere fast.
But if they were not calling the coalition foolish, idiot, and all the other negative things, if they were not even mentioning the coalition, you hear them talking about the DNA?
No.
So if they were not mentioning the coalition, I would second guess joining it. But the fact Sigmund Freud tell you that this is the only thing on your mind.
That's right.
Dog don't, we say, we better smarter than Sigmund Freud. Dog don't bark at parked car.
No, never does. Never does. I appreciate the fact that you were here today.
Thank
2
you.
minutes behind the hour, 7 o'clock. And so we got a good little chit chat today. And there's much more of that to come because we're going to be talking with a lot of people. And like I said, these doors are open to everyone. Anyone, including Brave Babies, can come to this show at any time. This invitation is just being extended to them. And I've been doing that for months now, years now. I can't get that. The point is, I'm going to talk with the people who are talking with me and who want to talk candidly about things that are happening in this economy, because this is my country too, and I love it. And because it's my country, I care about it. And because it's my country, I really, really, really care about this. So I'm going to do what I have to do. Now, if you all don't want to do anything, that's up to you.
Steve, could I make a quick recommendation? So put multiple chairs. Put one for party 1, put one for party 2, put one for the COI, and put one for the independent.
Right.
And pick every constituency and say, we're starting in St. Anne's. I want the 4 people to come. And who don't come, don't come. And you ask the right questions, right? And the people get to listen to what they have to say. You could defend your party if you're in, you could defend yours or opposition, and you trying to get in, you come with your ideas. And you do it for every constituency, leading up to the grand finale, where you invite the leader of all 3. And that'll be some ratings, eh?
I love it.
Because I want to hear what they got to say.
Yeah, I love it.
And if you don't come, get one of them little Cabbage Patch doll and put in the seat to represent them.
Yeah. See, this is Mr. Davis
Yeah,
over here. This is Mr.
Whoever.
Pintard over here.
Yeah.
I call them names because that's what I do. I call names. I don't play no game. I call names. If Davis ain't come, that's his little chair right there where he's supposed to be today. So we can ask that little dog baby inside that chair. The question. Oh, you ain't got nothing to say. Okay,
No.
let's move on. That's how it's gonna be. This
Whoever does
this
that-
is new generation talk show. Okay?
Whatever talk show does that,
Mhm.
and you send out the official letters so that the
course.
public can see they were all invited and you're very fair
Yeah.
and balanced.
Yeah, you have
And
to be.
it's, come and defend your record, what you did in the constituency leading up to the grand finale that was done nationally. Anyway,
Point taken. Point well taken. Appreciate the call. Appreciate all the calls today. And of course, the people out of Grand Bahama, we are feeding what you're feeding because we're going to work on your case some more because we hear bad things out in Grand Bahama. Of course, Illustra, we understand what's happening there too. Andrus, we understand what's happening there too. We know. And we're on top of it. Believe you me, we're on top of it. All right. This person is calling me now. This time the show is over. But anyhow, good afternoon. How are you? Good afternoon. How are you?
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. I'm listening to you.
Got a bombshell show going on today. I'm enjoying it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful. And thank you to Graham. Graham, you are a treasure. You're a great behavior. And I sure appreciate you. There's so many things I can say about what was mentioned on the show today, but at least we should make sure, at the very least, that when the investors come to Bahamas, they ought to be required to take out a surety bond, like anything else in the world.
Okay.
You know, the kids come out there, these people come out there and say they're going to spend $2 billion and then do nothing, and we'll have holding the bag while they're
No, sir.
calcium carbonated.
Can't be happening. It cannot be happening in the future.
Yes, everywhere else in the world, you go to invest, you're required to purchase a bond, so that if you renege, we get the money.
That's right. We
that
get that.
you were going to spend, so we can go and carry out the project ourselves.
That's what I'm talking about.
In what world is this happening still today? And they're not required to do that.
It's a mad world.
This should never happen again. Somebody needs to be on that. Whenever investors come, they need to purchase a surety bond. Otherwise, we're just playing a game on the people, and the joke's on us. Thank you for taking it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
that's an excellent idea. Not everybody knows everything, but if you have that think tank, you have Bohemians telling you, I mean, that should be a no-brainer that you have insurance to come in here. So what if you crack the water table and put salt water now into my fresh water in Freeport?
That's right.
How much environmental damage is that? They can't drink the water no more.
Terrible. Anyway, we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
And I tell you this, that won't be the last time because we want to tap into your reservoir of ideas and exploit those ideas and see how best we can shape the new Bahamas. Because we have to shape the new Bahamas.
You know what the king of UAE says? I watched him talking to 60 Minutes. He say, if you can have it in England, if you can have it in America, why can't I have it here? When I say I want an overhead transportation system that's flood proof, so you moving overhead, you're looking at the flood, but you don't care, right? And it's powered by electricity that's run by clean LNG barge or solar during the day. If you could have it, why can't we have it?
Absolutely.
We worth less, hey? No, bro, we spent our money.
Paying the money. That's a joke of the week.
Yep.
Anyway, good night. We'll see you when we do.